Right now at 5, after 50 years at Arrowhead, the Chiefs plan to move to Kansas.
And we've got a bit of a kitchen sink of a forecast. We've got some fog, we've got some gusty winds, we've got warmer temperatures, we got clouds, we got sprinkles, we got it all. We'll break it down for you coming up.
Plus, Congressman Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna threaten Attorney General Pam Bondi with legal action over Epstein files release.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, December 23rd. Happy Tuesday. All right, last shopping day. Last full shopping day is today. You get a little more time tomorrow. That's it. It's done. It is time.
Because you have to be really, really brave to try to brave the stores anywhere on
telling
Christmas
you,
Eve.
just a couple of weeks ago, it was hazardous enough. So
like, Walmart becomes the scariest place ever. You're like, I ran out of milk and I have to make this one thing. And you're like,
I think that's it. That's the hardest part is the fact that maybe you're done with your shopping, but you're like, oh shoot, I need some milk. The kids need cereal, whatever the case. You're not even going there for presents. But that's the benefit though of, I guess, like the grocery stores and the neighborhood markets and things like that. If you don't need the gifts, you can avoid the department stores, and hopefully it's a little easier to get in and out of those places, but not always. I mean, even the grocery stores, there's people who wait for the last minute to get their Christmas dinner. So, I mean, it happens. It does. I don't wait. I don't do it. The wife, she takes care of everything.
Yeah,
so I don't have to worry. I just, if she tells me do something or get something, I go do it. I go get it, and that's all I have to worry about. But if you are heading out, you need to be aware also of some fog this morning. It is a bit on the foggy side. So we're going to take a little tour around the area, starting with downtown Pittsburgh, where you can see, again, not bad yet, but you can definitely see that haze out there from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We've seen it off and on through the morning, at least since I got here on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. The fog kind of picks up just a bit, not significantly, but just a bit, and then it clears up. KDOT camera 69 just to the north of Baxter Springs looks good so far. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh also looks good, but if you look off in the lights just above the banner there, you can definitely see there's some fog. MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline in Joplin, clear for the time being. And same from the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. MoDOT cameras, though, I-44 exit 4, definitely seeing some fog pick up down there. And then at exit 11, a little bit of a haze out there. So exit 11, that'd be if you're heading 249 north or I-49 south to Neosho, Fort Smith, Bentonville, all that. That's where that one is. Oh, and these actually expanded right before we went on the air. Okay, we only had Washington and Nowata counties, so I will double check the expiration times on these for you. So new dense fog advisories, but when I show you the fog tracker, you'll see exactly why. Take a look. Our western counties, we've got visibilities well under a mile and in some cases barely above zero. Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, Sedan. This is also, Bartlesville's not on the map itself there, but you can see dense fog. Nowata, Parsons, and it's spreading, and there's patchy fog outside of that. So Nevada, Stockton, Fort Scott, some slightly reduced visibilities there, just under over 4.5 miles. And this fog is expected to stay that way through a good portion of the morning. In fact, let me back this up for just a second. Fog is expected to stick around across the area through maybe as late as noon or 1 o'clock. However, Woodson, Wilson, Neosho counties, and Allen counties, this fog could stick around until late afternoon, so you need to be prepared for that as well. Quick look at those temperatures: 60 in Joplin, 55 in Pittsburgh. Across the area, the majority of us are in the mid to upper 50s. We got some 60-degree readings out there, a little cooler up north and out to the west, where Sedan is the cold spot right now, sitting at 49. We could get an isolated sprinkle or a brief shower here or there. Most of us will be dry. We're mostly cloudy. We're going to be breezy. A momentary point of partly cloudy skies this afternoon before clouds will begin to increase again as we head late evening and into the overnight hours. Breezy today as well, south winds gusting to 20, and ultimately our highs into the upper 60s and low 70s. There's a lot to talk about, and of course we have our Christmas forecast to go over and the very warm weather that's going to be sticking around. Details on that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving across the state line to Kansas. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly and the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday announced that an agreement has been reached to build a domed stadium and mixed-use entertainment district in Kansas. KOAM's Ryan Blank has details from Arrowhead Stadium.
As Kansas Governor Laura Kelly said, Kansas is not a flyover state, it's a touchdown state. And Christmas has come early in the Sunflower State. After a year-and-a-half-long battle between Kansas and Missouri, the Chiefs and Governor Kelly announced their decision to leave Arrowhead Stadium and move across state line to build a brand new stadium. On Monday, the Kansas Legislative Coordinating Council unanimously approved the Star Bonds package following an executive session in Topeka. Back in April of 2024, Jackson County voters rejected a 40-year local sales tax extension to fund a new Royal Stadium and renovations to Arrowhead. After that 2024 vote, Kansas seized the opportunity and started forming a plan. That proposed and now approved plan is a private-public partnership that'll fund a $3 billion state-of-the-art domed stadium in Wyandotte County, scheduled to open at the start of the 2031 season. A new Chiefs headquarters and training facility will also be built in Olathe. An additional $1 billion will be invested in creating entertainment districts at both sites. Another potential positive for the state is that this project can help Kansas campaign for hosting big events like Final Fours, college football playoffs, and even Super Bowls. Arrowhead Stadium has been home to the Chiefs since 1972 and is a crown jewel of football's most recent dynasty. Now, for the second time in the last decade, Missouri is set to lose another NFL team. Reporting live in Kansas City for KOAM Sports, I'm Ryan Blank.
Well, Kansas Governor Kelly says the partnership will create over 20,000 construction jobs and bring $1 billion annual economic impact to Kansas without raising taxes or using current state funds.
The new stadium will be in Wyandotte County. It will be a world-class facility, the envy of professional sports. It will be surrounded by an entertainment district to beat all entertainment districts, hotels and restaurants and bars and more. Game day will be all day.
The $4.4 billion deal includes a $3 billion price tag for the construction of the stadium. Well, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe reacting to the news yesterday, he posted to Facebook in part, "State leaders did our part in putting together an attractive and competitive package that was a good deal for Missouri taxpayers and for the Chiefs." You can read Governor Kehoe's full statement on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, a victim suffers multiple gunshot wounds near Montevallo, Missouri. Authorities responded to reports of gunfire yesterday morning. The ambulance was able to stabilize the victim and they were flown by helicopter to a hospital. The suspected shooter, Johnny Gransberry, is being held without bond at the Vernon County Jail. Fire crews arrived in Nevada on Sunday to a motorhome and trailer engulfed in flame. The fire threatened to spread to a nearby metal building and the surrounding grass. Crews were able to bring the fire under control and there were no injuries. The city of Nevada has issued a burn ban until further notice due to the dry conditions. Well, a police car was rear-ended on Monday afternoon by a truck going highway speeds. The OHP trooper was sitting stationary with emergency lights activated on westbound I-40. The driver struck the patrol unit from behind while the trooper was still inside. Both of them were rushed to the hospital where the trooper is listed in stable condition and the other driver is in critical condition. The move over law states that when a vehicle is on the shoulder with emergency lights engaged, other vehicles are to move to the other lane over if possible. Well, more files related to Jeffrey Epstein are expected to be made public, according to Congressman Ro Khanna. The Department of Justice says it has hundreds of thousands of more pages coming, but heavy redactions and a slow release has drawn outrage from lawmakers and survivors. Reporter Christian Benavides is outside President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate with the latest.
And I won't be satisfied until the survivors are satisfied.
Congressman Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna are keeping the pressure on the Department of Justice, threatening Attorney General Pam Bondi with legal action if they believe the DOJ isn't acting in good faith as it releases the Epstein files.
The problem is this was a slap in the face of survivors. What do they want? They want to know who are the rich and powerful men who visited Epstein's rape island and covered up the abuse.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says a slow rollout and heavy redactions are protecting the survivors and the innocent.
You're talking about 1 million or so pages of documents. Virtually all of them contain victim information.
President Trump signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act into law last month. And though he was once friends with Epstein, he insists he didn't know about his crimes.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
More than a dozen of the new files were briefly taken down, including an image that appeared to show Trump. The Justice Department clarified it was flagged for additional review and reposted after there was no evidence Epstein survivors were in the image.
I don't feel tremendously confident that everything will come out.
Annie Farmer is a survivor. Documents appear to show her sister Maria, another survivor, notified the FBI about Epstein back in 1996.
Without fully understanding what went wrong here, how can we prevent that from happening again in the future?
According to the law, the DOJ must report to Congress in the coming weeks why it made any redactions. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
In a statement, Annie and Marina Farmer and 17 other survivors called on the DOJ to uphold the law, saying the partial release has hindered their search for accountability. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The U.S. Coast Guard pursues a third Venezuelan oil tanker as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on President Maduro. Plus, Jennifer Garner brings her pretend cooking show from Instagram to YouTube after nearly 8 years. And warming up as we head into Christmas, Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, President Trump is meeting with his top national security officials as the U.S. steps up its pressure campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
With the U.S. Coast Guard in active pursuit Monday of a third oil tanker connected to Venezuela, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended the Trump administration's efforts to ramp up the pressure on Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, speaking on Fox and Friends.
We're not just interdicting these ships, but we're also sending a message around the world that the illegal activity that Maduro is participating in cannot stand. He needs to be gone.
The Trump administration maintains Maduro and his government are trafficking drugs into the United States. Over the weekend, the U.S. military seized a second tanker, something the Venezuelan government condemned as, quote, a serious act of piracy. Last week, President Trump announced a blockade of sanctioned vessels going into or out of Venezuela. And in an interview Friday, he would not rule out a war against the country, raising concerns from lawmakers.
I consider it a provocation and a prelude to war, and I hope we don't go to war with Venezuela.
We should not be waging war against Venezuela. We definitely should not be waging war without a vote of Congress.
But other lawmakers are backing the White House's pressure campaign against the Maduro government.
I support the idea of standing up to Maduro, and I want him to go.
A CBS News poll last month found most Americans are against military action in Venezuela, with 73% of those surveyed saying the Trump administration has not clearly explained the U.S. position on the matter. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro addressed a letter Monday to the heads of state of Latin American and Caribbean nations, calling for joint action in the face of what it calls aggressions, acts of piracy, and extrajudicial executions by the United States. Well, still to come, they just act very much like us. A neurodiverse family finds parallels between themselves and their dogs. Plus, warming up as we head into Christmas, Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. Actress Jennifer Garner is whipping up some new recipes as Zendaya heads back to the big screen in 2026. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Welcome to an early edition pretend cooking show.
Actress Jennifer Garner is now serving up her kitchen concoctions on YouTube.
This one goes out to all the vegetarians and all the people who love vegetarians.
For nearly 8 years, Garner has introduced viewers to her pretend cooking show on Instagram, where she breaks down recipes in a fun and unvarnished way, from pumpkin maple muffins to sweet potato and black bean chili. Her YouTube channel is now live and will feature her past Instagram episodes along with new holiday recipes airing this week. Save the date for the ultimate spring wedding.
Let's do a little warm-up so we're feeling revved up and comfortable for your wedding day.
Zendaya and Robert Pattinson star in The Drama, an upcoming movie that lives up to its name in this newly released trailer. The Drama is in theaters in April. And next year, actress Zendaya also stars in the movie The Odyssey, whose highly anticipated trailer has just been released.
No one could stand between my men. And home.
Director Christopher Nolan adapted Homer's Greek epic for his upcoming film, casting Matt Damon for the lead role of Odysseus following his perilous journey to return home after the Trojan War. The movie will be released next summer. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Certainly a lot of things to look forward to. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we've got that little bit of that kitchen sink forecast. We've got some fog, we've got some clouds, we've got some wind, we've got some sprinkles out there, and we've got the warm temperatures. We're going to break it all down for you when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now, 5:21. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:23 now on this Tuesday morning. We have dense fog advisories. So Washington, Newada County, these will run through 10 a.m. and the new ones that were issued right before we went on the air this morning will run through 11 a.m. for southeast Kansas and into parts of southwest Missouri, Bates County. And so here's why. I mean, look at these visibilities. The further west you go, the worse it gets. Iola is at 0. Yates Center, you're practically at 0. Where you've got 4/10 in Fredonia, half a mile, Chanute, Independence, Sedan, a mile in Parsons, Bartlesville's reduced, Newada is reduced, Miami is reduced, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton. The only one that isn't is Grove and Anderson. You're doing okay. Everybody else, even slightly reduced visibilities out there. And this fog, a couple of things about it. One, for the region, it could stick around through noon, 1 o'clock today. It may not be as dense by this afternoon, but it could stick around. We do still have concerns, though, for dense fog. Neosho, Woodson, Allen, and Wilson counties into southeast Kansas here. This fog could remain somewhat dense as late as 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's why if you're traveling today, you need to be extra cautious out there. And low beams, not your high beams, slow down. This fog means business, and it's very widespread at this point. Aside from the fog, mostly cloudy skies. In fact, cloudy skies at some points. And yesterday, I mentioned that the sprinkles that were showing up weren't likely. Well, that changed, and they are at least somewhat likely. But remember what you just saw. It's extremely isolated, whatever we do see. Most of us will be dry. Late afternoon, early evening, we get a brief period of partly cloudy skies that rolls through the area. Clouds will thicken back up. Again, an isolated shower or sprinkle will be possible this evening and overnight, but most of us, again, will be dry. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies and the return of some patchy fog overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Once we start rolling into the afternoon tomorrow, we'll finally start to see those skies clear a bit, but we're still mostly cloudy, and those southwest winds are going to ramp up on us as well as we head through Wednesday. Now we head into Christmas Day, skies begin to clear a bit. Partly cloudy from Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, partly cloudy skies through the day. Something to note, because I saw something I wanted to double check on our end. We will be warmer on Christmas for our high than what our high was for Memorial Day. Let that one sink in. We were in the low to mid 60s on Memorial Day. We're going to be in the low to mid 70s on Christmas Day. Not as warm as the 4th of July. 4th of July was almost 90 degrees. Thankfully not that warm, but still well above average out there. And eventually skies will continue to clear throughout Christmas Day itself. All right, so we have the fog. You can see some of it from 7th and Rangeline. I said it shows up and it thins out a bit and it shows back up again. 60 to start, mid 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today. Upper 60s, low 70s, and south winds gusting to 20 out there. Overnight tonight, temperatures will do like they did last Friday. We get a little later, and they're going to level out in the low 60s, with that south wind still gusting at 10 to 20. For Christmas Day, not much change here. Partly cloudy skies, low 60s by 9, near 70 by noon. Still pretty mild into the evening, with highs into the low to mid 70s. Again, if you're traveling, we've got the shower concerns out to our west. Warm and dry down to the south, cold up north, and then again, snow starting to settle into the New England states up here, especially up into New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, those locations. As for us, take a look at these temperatures, mid-70s, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. We've got this boundary here, which isn't doing a lot of moving. We'll go low 50s, Omaha, low to mid-60s, St. Louis out there, mid-60s in Wichita if you're traveling locally. Outside of that, low to mid-70s tomorrow and Thursday. Winds tomorrow, by the way, southwest gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. Christmas Day, again, looking all right, staying in the 70s. Now Saturday, a cold front finally does push through. It drops our temperatures back near normal. Could get a few showers Monday and Tuesday, but it's a brief drop. We start warming back up again in the second half of next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The mental health of many Americans remains a major challenge. A new West Health Gallup poll shows Americans are feeling worse about their mental health for the first time. Fewer than 30% of adults say their mental health is excellent, a 13-point drop over the past 6 years. Researchers say the COVID-19 pandemic appears to be a major turning point. Before the pandemic, mental health ratings were stable, with about 42% of Americans rating their mental health as excellent. That number dropped sharply in 2020 and has continued to decline since. Well, it turns out being on the spectrum may not just apply to people. A British scientist says dogs can experience a form of autism even though veterinarians won't formally diagnose it. Tina Cross has the story from London.
Animal scientist Jacqueline Boyd has a full house with 6 energetic Cocker Spaniels at her feet.
This is Miss Mirabelle Moon.
Hello. She says her pets give her a front row seat to the latest scientific conversation, neurodiversity in dogs.
There's good evidence of biological signatures of neurodiversity in different species, and particularly in dogs.
Dr. Boyd says our faithful companions can have structural and chemical differences in their brains similar to people diagnosed with autism.
They still have the same emotional reaction to the world, similar emotional states. It's recognizing that commonality.
Boyd suspects she has ADHD herself.
As an academic, I can hyper-focus intensely, and I very much see this in my spaniels as well.
While there's no formal diagnosis for autism or ADHD in dogs, vets often call it canine dysfunctional behavior, which is sometimes treated with medication, but more often a trainer.
And I think when we see the parallels in the way that our dogs are, it just becomes a lot easier to accept ourselves.
Natasha Price and her 2 kids, Izzy and Benji, are all neurodiverse and think their dogs are too.
They just act very much like us. They get zoomies. My son, we joke a lot that he and his dog Olive are really, really similar.
Does it help us bond with our pet more to know if they're neurodiverse?
It helps us actually improve their ability to bond with us also, because they're more likely to feel safe and confident.
Perhaps making the ride through life together a little smoother. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
If you suspect your dog is neurodiverse, Dr. Boyd recommends getting a checkup at the vet and working with a fully qualified behaviorist or trainer. Well, that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, local businesses rally behind a pageant winner's hospital gift drive.
We've made a list. We've checked it twice. Fog, warm weather, cloudy skies, sprinkles, gusty winds. We're going to go over all of that with you. Like this fog you can see here coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh city leaders address concerns about property taxes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:33. I'm Samantha Walker.
Chris Porter. It's Tuesday, December 23rd. Happy Tuesday. I almost spilled my coffee. That was a bad deal, and now I'm amusing myself. It's a holiday week.
You're just jolly like old Sam.
Something like that. I mean, I'm jolly all the time. Okay, almost all the time. But no, I made myself chuckle. It's not even funny. It was funny to me for a half second.
But that's what you kind of need sometimes during holiday weeks, especially if you're like us who are still going to work every day and you're looking at home at people who are like, I'm making cookies with my kids at like 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning.
Well, I mean, I don't make cookies. I'm not allowed to cook. We've gone over this before. It's just something I just don't do.
You would like to still have a kitchen at the end of the day.
The wife would like for her, pots and pans to still be usable, the kitchen to not be burned down, So that's why I do not cook. But if you are, hopefully you've got all your shopping done. If you haven't, you still got a little more time. In most cases, they're about 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. I know not everything closes at that time, but it's pretty close. It's about the normal closing time tomorrow. And if you're heading out this morning, you need to slow down. No matter where you're going or what it is you're doing, you've got to be extra cautious because we have some very dense fog across most of the region. In fact, the western 2/3 of our region with dense fog. Let's start though with our cameras outside. We're going to start with downtown Pittsburgh. Again, it is foggy. You can kind of see it. It's not super dense in Pittsburgh at this point, but visibilities have been slowly dropping out there in Pittsburgh. Our camera 7th in range line, like I said, every so often we'll see some fog build in and then it kind of clears out a bit, but still, we've got to keep an eye on that. KDOT camera 69 just north of Baxter Springs. Looking good so far. Baxter Springs not seeing the same kind of fog out there. And then just south of Pittsburgh, again, you can see that light haze here from the KDOT camera 69 and 400. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line in Joplin. Roads are wet. We got a lot of evaporation taking place. It got really warm yesterday. It's really warm this morning. Our temperatures didn't really fall back that far yet. So we've got that going on. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. I know it looks kind of foggy, but some of this also is it's just a wee bit out of focus. But still, we got to keep an eye on it because fog is expected across the region. Exit 4, MoDOT camera there. You can see that fog and same with some of that haze. Exit 11, so this would be 249 north or I-49 south to Neosho. Main Street, range line, look okay so far. And here's where, and these just got expanded again. I apologize. It's a very rapidly changing situation. We now have new dense fog advisories. So Bourbon, Crawford, Barton, Vernon, and Cedar and St. Clair counties. I'll double check the expirations on those. The 2 in Oklahoma, Washington, Nevada counties run through 10 a.m. These ones here, at least, run through 11 a.m. And I will check the expiration times on those because those are new. But still, it's that sign that even though the fog isn't super dense east yet, it's expected to thicken up and get a little more dense, but you get west of 69. We've got zero visibility in Iola, nearly zero in Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Sedan, Independence, Parsons, Nowata, Bartlesville, Miami, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, all with reduced visibilities. Pittsburgh as well, just over 4 miles, slightly reduced visibilities outside of that, with the exception of Grove and Anderson, where you've got pretty good visibility. So you need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. And just be cautious. Watch out for the rapidly changing visibilities as well, as this fog's expected to spread across more of the area this morning. We're at 60 in Joplin right now, 55 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, temperatures are fairly mild. A little cooler out west. 49 in Sedan is the cool spot, and we get into the mid to upper 50s, and 61 the warm spot in Joplin right now, at least on this map. So again, a fairly mild start ahead of a very warm day. We'll have southwest winds gusting up to 20 at times, an isolated sprinkle or two. I know yesterday I said that didn't look likely. Well, it's there, but majority of us will remain dry. We'll have a momentary period of partly cloudy skies push through the area before clouds thicken back up again late this evening and into the overnight. The dense fog into parts of Woodson, Wilson, Neosho, and Allen counties could last into the late afternoon hours. So that's something we want to watch as well. In fact, fog across the area could last as late as noon or 1 for many of us as we head through our day. So something else we need to keep in mind. We'll go low 60s by 9. Eventually our highs today, upper 60s, low 70s. As I mentioned, south winds gusting to 20. Fog could return overnight tonight into our Wednesday morning. Winds increase tomorrow ahead of that big temperature jump. We'll go over those details with you, and we'll look at the Christmas forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A pageant winner from Joplin is working to brighten the holidays for some young area patients and their families. Miss Heartland 2025 dropped off gifts for the Freeman pediatric patients in Joplin. KOAM's Nellie Lopez tells us the inspiration behind her generosity.
She has a whole car full. Yeah, so like there's
Tabitha Mackhart doesn't just work hard to achieve her crown. She works hard to deliver Christmas cheer to local Freeman pediatric patients.
It's just incredible to see Tabby give back to the community while also bringing awareness to people with disabilities, and it's just amazing.
But for Tabitha, it's not just about giving gifts, it's about the deeper meaning behind it.
At age 2, I was diagnosed with bronchiomalacia, which is a weak air wall in my lungs. I spent 6 months in a pediatric intensive care unit, so I know exactly how these kids feel in that bed, not having something to do. So each time I get to do this, it just fills my heart to give back to something I was a part of.
As for her 8th annual Christmas drive, this was the biggest donation she's had so far, all thanks to several local businesses.
I had Kiddos Tacos, we had a salon, we had TJ Pharmacy, we had a dress shop.
It's incredibly important to give gifts to kids in the pediatric department because it shows them joy and comfort during the holidays during a scary and stressful time.
Hey, thank you, Ty. Bye, girls. It's nice meeting you.
In Joplin, I'm Nellie Lopez, KOAM.
Tabitha advocates in the community about her organization, Be Unique, and she also donates to Ronald McDonald House throughout the year. Well, Miami Public Library is hosting a North Pole workshop where children can make different gifts to give to their parents. In the workshop, children can paint Christmas ornaments, make Christmas cards, or make Christmas decorations. Library staff want to be there for the community by offering these workshops.
Just the families making memories together. That is really my main goal with our programs that we host here at the library, is for families to make memories together.
Miami Public Library hosts activities for both children and adults all the time. Check out their website for more information. Well, the holiday season often sees a spike in animal shelter visits, with people hoping to get their loved ones a new pet as a gift. While it may seem tempting to leave a cute puppy or a kitten underneath the Christmas tree, experts recommend making sure the recipient will even enjoy the gift and going as far as having them pick out the pet in advance.
If you're thinking about getting a gift of a pet for somebody, definitely want to make sure that the gift recipient wants a pet to begin with. So you don't want to give them a dog and they say, I absolutely do not want this. That doesn't work out. But definitely want to research breeds. Different breeds have different energy levels.
Both the Nevada Animal Shelter and the Joplin Humane Society continue to offer meet and greets where anyone can check out the animals available for adoption before making any selections. Well, yesterday, the Pitt and Nash Church, along with Pittsburgh Celebrate Recovery, held a special Christmas service. The event brought community members together to not only celebrate their loved ones in recovery, but also on the prophecy of Jesus and his birth and how the message connects to people's lives today. Well, Pittsburgh city leaders are responding to questions about transparency as the community continues to grow. KOAM's Blake Goley takes a closer look at how tax revenue and how city leaders are responding to residents' concerns.
We acknowledge that life is extremely expensive right now across the country, across the world. It's no different than it is in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh leaders say rising costs and increasing property values are driving new conversations about taxes and how decisions are shared with the public. Over the last 5 years, sales tax revenue in Pittsburgh consistently generated more money than property taxes.
When I first got here 14 years ago, the valuation in this community was going down. Property taxes every year were worth less. Now we finally got into a growth point where the valuation is going up. So the trick now is how far can we lower or moderate the property tax rate so we don't overburden the taxpayers.
City leaders say growth is a positive sign, but acknowledge the added pressure to balance development without increasing the burden on residents. Officials say transparency will be key as the city continues to grow.
I want to see more of an open government explanation of what's going on and more information flowing at the beginning stage as well as throughout the process when it has to do with every department and every project the city's got going on. I think a lot of people wanted that for a long time.
Some residents view transparency as crucial to the community's future.
I've grown up here, my kids are growing up here, probably my grandkids are going to grow up here, and I want the community to be one where people can afford to live and that is governed well so that it's a type of place people want to live.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Netflix gives fans a Christmas gift with 3 new Stranger Things episodes dropping Thursday. In Consumer Watch, the wait is almost over for the second installment of Stranger Things Season 5. 3 more episodes of the final season hit Netflix this Thursday on Christmas Day, with the Hawkins crew banding together to finally stop Vecna and the Upside Down from bleeding into their hometown. The stars, who have worked together for nearly 10 years, hit the red carpet in New York City last week for a special screening of the latest volume, along with show creators the Duffer Brothers. That's it for Consumer Watch. And now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got that patchy fog building in. Very dense fog out west of 69 this morning. All of us could get on it. Details when we come back.
Lots of kids will put out a glass of milk for Santa to drink on Christmas Eve. And all that milk really adds up for the jolly old elf. Details on today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Michelle Rook with today's Ag Day Minute. The latest snapshot of global food prices showing a drop last month. The latest Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations Food Price Index now has a reading of just over 125 points. That represents the 3rd consecutive monthly decline. It says drops were reported for dairy products, meat, sugar, and vegetable oils. It outweighed an increase in the cereal index. Overall, the index remains 35 points lower than its peak in March of 2022. Instacart says it's ending a program where customers saw different prices for the same product ordered at the same time from the same store. The program was meant to help retailers learn more about what kinds of prices customers would pay for items, but it created controversy after a report from Consumer Reports and 2 advocacy groups said Instacart offered nearly 3 out of every 4 grocery items to shoppers at multiple prices in an experiment. And with all his hard work delivering toys, Santa is sure to work up a hefty appetite. Kris Kringle is relying on America's dairy farmers to help produce his drink of choice, real milk. According to the Dairy Alliance, if each household leaves 1 8-ounce glass of milk out for St. Nick to enjoy, he will consume an estimated 688 million ounces of milk. Now that adds up to roughly 716 tankers worth. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates at agweb.com.
Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
That is a lot of milk, to say the least there. And we've got a lot of fog this morning to deal with. We've seen these dense fog advisories gradually expand across the area. So Washington and the Wada counties in Oklahoma, they run through 10 a.m. Everybody else, these will continue through 11 o'clock this morning. And again, even though there's not super dense fog all the way east yet, we are expecting this fog to continue to spread across the area. So here's a look at the fog tracker. Again, Yates Center, you're practically at 0. I mean, Chanute, Fredonia, you're not far behind. Iola at 0. Fort Scott, Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Iola, Sedan, Independence, all less than a mile. Parsons at a mile. Nevada, Stockton, Miami, Newada, Bartlesville, reduced visibilities, including Pittsburgh, all under 5. And then other than Anderson and Grove, we do have at least slightly reduced visibilities outside of that. Now, a couple of things of note with this fog. One is the fog is expected to expand further east, hence the expansion of those dense fog advisories. And 2, it could last for the region as late as noon or 1 o'clock today. But there's also data suggesting that for parts of Wilson, Woodson, Neosho, and Allen counties, this fog could remain somewhat dense and could stick around through 2-3 o'clock this afternoon. So we need to be cautious about that. Outside of that, we're also going to have the clouds. We're also going to have that opportunity for some drizzle today, or at least some isolated sprinkles. Yesterday, it showed up on Future Track. Didn't think it was going to really happen, but again, new data this morning, well, overnight into this morning, says that a sprinkle or 2 will be possible. Most of us will remain dry. I do want to emphasize that. Going into late afternoon, early evening, we get a brief period of partly cloudy skies and this little belt here as clouds move through the area, but they will thicken back up tonight. And again, an isolated brief shower or sprinkle, not out of the question through today into tonight, early tomorrow morning. Fog is expected to spread across the area again overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So again, if you're staying local or traveling, regionally, and you're going to be leaving in the morning or you're leaving this morning, you need to be extra cautious out there. We're also going to be breezy today, tonight, into tomorrow. In fact, our southwest winds tomorrow start gusting upwards of 30. We'll have mostly cloudy skies for the majority of our Wednesday, and into Christmas Eve, the actual eve itself, will start to go partly cloudy. And heading into Christmas Day, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, some gusty southwest winds possible, and temperatures on Christmas could be warmer than where we were. I think I was looking back, it was Memorial Day, and almost as warm as where we were for Labor Day. Fog out there, and you can see some of it from 7th and Rangeline, about 60 to start, mid-60s by 11 a.m. Another look at your forecast right after this.